If there was an election now, it wouldn't be won by Labour because they are right in the deep stuff and the doo-doo. 71% of people basically polled by the Times are saying the Prime Minister is handling the Asylum hotel issue badly, and that includes 56% of Labour voters. Let's talk to Robert Hayward, Lord Robert Hayward, who's a peer, Tory peer and pollster, of course. Robert, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
So, bad news for Starmer, this, isn't it? Particularly the sort of the portion of people who are actually Labour voters. 56% of his own party voters think he's not handling it very well.
Yeah, I think this is strikingly bad because the classification of Labour voters under these circumstances will be those people who voted Labour at the last election, which was actually a remarkably small proportion of the population anyway. Yeah, they had a big majority, but that's because of the first past the post system. But such a high proportion of people saying, no, Labour is wrong from within the diminished Labour community is quite striking.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, the trouble is, this is a many-faceted problem for the government, isn't it? Because it's not only about the numbers arriving, which will swell, we're told, again this week because the wind has changed. Last week there wasn't much of a problem. Hardly anybody crossed because there was an easterly wind blowing across the channel and it made it difficult for them to come. But then you've got the problem of what happens when they get here. You've got the problem of the number of people here since 5 years ago when it all kind of started, 173-odd thousand, many of whom are still waiting for an appeal process to be heard. You know, the whole thing is a complete mess.
I think it's striking that historically, going back 30, 40 years, the economy has always been the prime issue, whichever party's in government. But at the moment, immigration is at or above the levels of the economy in terms of an issue uppermost in people's minds. So that is an indication of the problems which the government has got. And at the end of the day, as both you and the news bulletin said, you can tackle little bits of it or say you're going to tackle rather than solve it. But at the end of the day, there is no clear deterrent and no clear location that your people are going to be deported to. The word Rwanda comes very strikingly to mind.
Yes.
Because the Labour government at the moment just do not have an end point in their policy. It's lots of, well, we'll tackle things at the edges, but there isn't a clear destination, a clear end point, which will result in a deterrence.
No, exactly right. And I mean, when you look at the polling, generally speaking, for, you know, which way people are likely to vote if there's an election tomorrow, there's still no light for them there either, is there?
No, there isn't. But I always hesitate to discuss an election tomorrow because there isn't going to be one. But it's the message that the polls convey, and whether it's on the specific issue of immigration or on the failure, identification of the failure over the economy or whatever it may happen to be, Labour is facing a massive problem. And it's striking that on this sunny bank holiday at the end of the summer, every news headline in every form of the media seems to be a real problem for the government. So it's not got easier over the summer recess, which normally governments hope it will. And the likelihood is that the headlines are going to continue negative over the next few weeks.
Exactly right. And we're going to talk to Richard Holden, Shadow Transport Secretary, in a moment. What can you tell us about the polls and the message for the Tories? Because Kemi Badenoch did a big interview with the Sunday Times yesterday in which she said, you know, she sees her job as stewarding the Tory party kind of back from the dead, if you like, so that it will be ready for an election in a few years' time.
I think that's a fair analysis of it, that the Tories face enormous problems. They're at a level which is an historic low. There are some limited indications that the Tories' position may be improving, but they are limited. The Tories have got to get themselves back to be a credible alternative, which at the moment they're not. People still are saying they don't like either of the historic big two parties, what one might describe as the legacy parties. They want to hit out by voting either Reform or Greens or any form of Jeremy Corbyn's party, etc. So there is a real difficulty for both big parties because they are at historic lows, and that includes the Tory party.
Yeah, absolutely. Lord Robert Hayward, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed, Tory peer and pollster.